Welcome to Dollars and Cents with Freedman Financial, the home for financial advice in a language you can understand. Created by Marc Freedman of Freedman Financial, he and his team of certified financial planner professionals will discuss timely topics that help individuals and families make smart financial decisions. And now, get ready for this week's edition of Dollars and Cents with Freedman Financial.
Welcome back to another edition of Dollars and Cents with Freedman Financial. I'm Marc Freedman.
And I'm Marion Gilman.
And guess what time of the year it is?
I can't imagine. Like, we don't look like it's any festive occasion.
Well, I saw you wearing a festive sweater today, so I figured I'd pull out the jacket.
Well, today's our little office Christmas party.
That's right.
So, I figured I'd, celebrate the season.
Well, look at you, all festive and everything.
Too.
Well, I got the jacket.
Here we go.
I have both a jacket for Christmas and for Hanukkah, depending upon the festive occasion that we're celebrating or whatever. So
we're non-denominational in this
we
office.
Certainly are.
We have a little bit of everything.
But as the Jewish guy in the office, it's kind of fun. Over the past 4 years or so, we decided to put a Christmas tree here in the office.
And you don't do a bad job for a Jew.
Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, I try.
You do a good job.
So Jody helps me out a little bit. I've learned about fluffing the tree and hanging the ornaments and doing that. So we have a fun time, and the office is very nicely decorated.
It is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
We had a lot of nice compliments on it too. So,
Absolutely.
So it's always nice.
Absolutely.
So here we are, 2025 coming to an end in just a week or two.
Unbelievable.
I knew you were going to say unbelievable.
I know you, and I always do.
Unbelievable. Wow. Here we are. Another year's gone by, right?
I think as you get older, it's like just more noticeable.
And I think it happens faster.
Well, you know what they say, as a percentage of your life, 1 year as a percentage of your life now is very different than 1 year as a percentage of your life when you were 10.
That's right. So yeah, you go from 10 to 11 and you've done another 10% of your life. Now it's another, fraction.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
think, whoa, my God. Okay, what has happened?
So
we've lived through a lot.
We have lived through a lot. And what's really remarkable, as we met with so many of our clients, is that the past 3 years, really, 2023, 2024, 2025, from an investment standpoint, I think for many it's exceeded their expectations.
It's exceeded our expectations, at least mine. Yeah, exactly.
For sure. When we show some of the performance numbers to clients to see how their accounts have done, and it's not just us; it's across every platform for the most part. People have performed, in many cases, better than what we had expected.
Considerably better.
Yeah, and in 2022 was a negative year.
That's right.
For many people, a negative down year.
Right.
A negative down year, of course, but a double-digit negative down year.
Correct.
And so we then, at Freedman Financial, when we're looking with our clients, we don't worry about performance of portfolios on a quarter-to-quarter basis.
We don't.
But we do like to look at 5 years, 3 years.
Because on average, so when we do projections for clients and we're looking at, is your money going to last throughout your retirement, we have to make an assumption of what those return numbers will be. And we make an assumption to the best of our knowledge, given our history and given the market's history. But we want to make sure that our clients are actually achieving those averages over longer periods of time. Now, over the past 3 years, they have far exceeded those averages. However, when you look back 10, 15, 20 years, they have slightly exceeded the averages, but nowhere near the extent that they have over the past 3 years.
And so, it generally, we know that people have to be careful about the exuberance they might have of the past 3 years, because generally returns revert back to the mean.
That's correct.
And, even when we look at our 5-year returns in our client portfolios, when you add in a negative year along with 3 positive years, it still creates an adjustment. And we're still comfortable, and it allows us to focus on the long term rather than short term performance.
And one of the things you'll note that when people come into our office, well, I should say our clients should note that when you come into our office and we've had a significantly down year, we don't say to you, you have to take less money, you have to spend less. if we've done a good job in projecting what your income needs are going to be. Nor at this point in time, when we've now made up for the 2022 losses and gone ahead, do we say, oh, well, you should take out all of those gains and spend them, because we are likely to have another downturn. As Marc says, it reverts to the mean.
Right. We learned a lot in 2008 and 2009 when we went through the financial crisis.
Absolutely.
And for many of our clients, where 65% of them are retired and they draw upon their investment accounts,
Right.
we've created a portfolio structure that allows us to access funds for them on a month-to-month basis, regardless of whether the market is up or whether it's down.
Without selling stocks at a low. So we use other investments that can allow us to sell some of those if we need money or if clients need cash, versus the stocks that have declined precipitously.
Yeah, so we try to create this balance. And this all fits into your overall general financial plan too. I mean, I don't want to just make it feel like all we do is pick investments, because it's frankly just a small slice in the overall financial planning pie we look at. But one of the things that's important, especially when it comes to meeting your goals, is the way you spend money. And Marion, you had mentioned to me earlier that there was an interesting story that you read about how people are budgeting these days.
Right. It's fascinating, because I think many of you might have the inclination at the holiday time to spend maybe a little bit more than maybe you should.
A little.
So Marc, did your kids get any gifts this year?
My kids got nothing.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So mine too. So I'm guilty of this.
Well, the problem with buying gifts is if you buy them early, you forget that you bought those gifts, and then you buy other things, and then other things, and then other things.
When I'm wrapping at the end, I'm like, oh, look at this. Oh, I didn't know I had
Forgot
this.
all about that. Oh,
Absolutely, absolutely. And now we're in a society where whoever pulls out cash, right? I pay for everything with my credit card. And there are a lot of individuals who have gotten into trouble because they don't think of it. And they just keep charging and charging and charging. Very easy to do. So I read this article this week that says that there are numerous individuals who have now gone back to spending cash for all of their needs. And if they take out a certain amount of cash every week or every month, and that's the money they have to spend on discretionary items. So, their big bills they would still pay maybe via credit card or whatever, but they use cash. If they want to go to Starbucks, they want to, whatever they want to do, buy gifts. And so it's much easier to stay in a budget, because when the cash is gone, you got nothing.
Yeah, but the funny thing is I bet we
They
didn't
go
even talk
just
about
get
this.
more.
No, they show up at the store and they go, we don't take cash.
Oh yeah, that would be right.
Yeah. Think about all the places you've been that we were a cashless operation.
Yeah.
You show up at the Boston Garden.
Yeah.
And they actually have machines where you can put your cash in, and they'll give you a debit card back so that you can pay at the register.
And of course, you can't order online with cash.
Well, you can't order online, right?
So I'm sure they run into problems. But for some of those everyday things that you tend to spend too much money on, it is a way to keep yourself in check.
Definitely a way, because because what I think we sometimes forget about, Marion, is the amount of money people spend on service fees and convenience fees that are just kind of built into your credit card. But if you were to buy something for $15 and you laid out $15, that's what it cost. But if you bought something with $15 and you did it with your credit card, there could be a service fee, there could be a convenience fee, there could be a delivery fee, a tip, all of this kind of stuff, and the tipping's just gone out of hand.
Absolutely. Well, no question. But at this time of the year as well, people do a lot of tipping. So that's the other thing, for services rendered over the course of the year, say. So that's the other thing that, using cash might be a little bit better way to do that as well.
Yeah, it's also interesting, when you pay with a credit card, you oftentimes don't have the opportunity to tip. Sometimes you do now, because a lot of the machines add on there. But if you pay like with a credit card, sometimes you can just forego that. And by the way, don't be guilted into having to tip when someone turns the little machine around to you and says, oh, can you just complete this and fill this out? It's okay to hit no tip. If my feeling is, and I'm bah humbug, right? Because I'm wearing the Christmas
the
jacket
jingle
here.
bell
But my
jacket.
feeling is if I have to get service while I'm standing up and the person on the other side of the counter is standing up, there's no tip. So if I have to walk up to a counter, I get coffee. That's your job. You get coffee. Now, if you're working in a service industry, here it comes, bah humbug again, right? Remember, the service professionals, people that work in the restaurant business, they're getting the minimum wage, $6 and something cents an hour. They're working for tips.
Right.
However, people that are working at Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks and your local pizza shop, they're not getting $6 an hour.
Right.
They're getting minimum wage or more. And in Massachusetts, that's what, $15 now minimum wage?
Yes, I
and
believe
sometimes even more than that.
Right.
Is there a necessity to have to tip for someone to just do their job, like turn around and hand you a slice of pizza or grab a bottle of water or fill a cup of coffee? Now, even worse, how about if you order your coffee on an app and you walk into the store to grab it off a counter and leave? You should still leave a tip?
Yeah.
It seems kind of silly.
Absolutely. I mean, I totally agree with this. Unless somebody goes way above and beyond and does some kind of, I will give you an example. I was once in a pastry shop, and for those of you who might know my background, I used to be a pastry chef. So I'm standing there and I'm going to, well, what's in this and what's in that? And, you know, I drove the woman crazy, I'm sure.
She does that.
I do.
Go to lunch with her.
Exactly. So anyways, you know, then under that circumstance, she did spend time with me and I did tip her. However, if I walk into a store and say, oh, gee, I want a croissant, somebody puts it in a bag, I'm not sure I would, you know, I don't think that is I shouldn't say deserving, but they are getting paid.
That's their
to do
job.
that.
Your job is to get food from the rack behind you and deliver it.
And it takes 2 seconds. You know, it's not doing anything.
Right.
Putting it in a bag. So anyways.
Well, you know, it is the holiday season, and we want to express our appreciation to everybody who's actually watched this podcast, our clients, those that get our newsletter, and everyone out there. And we recognize that, you know, for some, times are tough. For others, times are pretty great right now. And it's really hard to see.
It's a balance.
We talked about this thing earlier in the year called the K economy.
Right.
Where some people are feeling tremendous success this year.
Right.
While others are struggling.
Yeah.
And it's hard to determine which is right because everybody is a little bit different. You know, you go around to restaurants these days, they're busy. The parking lot at the shopping mall, despite the fact that we still shop online for most things, it's still pretty darn busy.
Yeah, I had trouble getting around one day last week.
That's
so,
right.
Yeah.
But there are things that are expensive. You know, some food is expensive, some prices. We only hear about the things that have gone up, by the way. Like the cost of meat is very expensive these days.
Yeah. Well, I will say that, though, you know, people are still spending money. So in reality, consumer goods last month, I mean, people were still spending. It was automobiles that they weren't spending on.
Right, they're holding their cars a little bit.
Right.
They're holding onto their cars a little bit longer.
So it's the big stuff, but for little things, people are still spending.
Yeah, it's
we'll
the way
see.
the world works.
Yeah.
And we look at this when we do financial planning for our clients. We look at it we play the long game. I can't worry about what's happening month to month to month to month to month.
Right.
We've got to look at our client situation and say, how will this money last for 20, 30, 40 years?
Right.
So let me ask you this as we head out of this episode today. If you were to build a financial plan and someone were to ask you, well, how long do you think you'll live? And we want to build a plan to make sure that there's enough money for you, how long would you like us to project for? And we ask that question to a lot of financial advisors, and I'm really surprised with the answers that we get. Some of you might be thinking, well, maybe it's 85, maybe it's 90. Well, at Freedman Financial, what do we do, Marion?
100.
Yeah, we plan to at least 100, and we might even be looking to do this to 110 at some point.
I wouldn't doubt it because, in all honesty, I mean, we also ask our clients, well, how long did your parents live?
Right, right.
And we have more and more clients telling us, oh, well, they lived into their 90s.
Yeah, so why wouldn't you live even longer than that?
That's right.
I mean, it's really amazing. We've got clients who are in their 90s that still drive without, well, I don't know how well they drive, but they do drive.
And we have clients who are turning 100 next year.
We do have clients, 2 of them actually, that I can think of just off the top of my head that are turning 100.
Yeah.
And so it happens, and and they seem to
more and more.
You know, there's little ailments here and there, but they still do it.
Yeah, awesome.
Well, if now's the time for you to get serious about your financial planning and investment management needs, we hope you'll give us a call. As we head into 2026, we are taking new appointments, of course. We would love to meet with you. Visit our website at freedmanfinancial.com. That's Freedman.
2 E's and a D.
Financial.com. Go to the bottom of any page. You can put in your name and your email address, and you get our free weekly newsletter. It's called Planning Pointers. It lands in your inbox every Friday at 10:30 in the morning. We've been delivering that newsletter since March of 2009. Have never missed a week, have never missed a Friday at 10:30, except once a year. Wednesday before Thanksgiving, we send out the newsletter that week, not on Friday because we generally close on Friday. But it's coming to you. So join the 7,000 plus subscribers that get our newsletter each and every week. That's going to do it for us this week. We will see you back with more dollars and cents and more financial advice in a language you can understand. Have a great day, everybody.
Enjoy.
During today's episode of Dollars and Cents with Freedman Financial, your host may have discussed specific financial planning and investment ideas that are for general information only and not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations. Please remember that investing involves risk and may include loss of principal. Always consult a certified financial planner professional, qualified attorney, or tax advisor prior to investing to determine what is appropriate for you. Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA, SIPC.